This literally was the first moment I rode a manual motorbike. Here I'm following my friend Conrad, who acts as a guide, as I follow close behind, discovering all the gears above second for the first time. This ride was heading out west to a small place called Donghaksa, a temple village on the edge of the city. We're going to meet Gordon and Thierry, who we'll have coffee with, and talk about Thierry's world travelling experiences, as he's from Switzerland, travelling on his world tour, just passing through South Korea from Australia.
How about the police? Did you get? I got one ticket at the Ayers Rock, the Uluru. You have to stay in a resort there, and there's 40 kilometers limit. I was just leaving this roundabout at the exit, and I was just accelerating out of this roundabout to the main road, which is open, 120. And they focus, with a speed gun, they had the roundabout and they had 55 on the clock, Jumped out of the bushes, stopped.
Right. Jumped out the bushes.
Yeah. So there was like $150, I said, come on, I'm a world biker, I'm traveling around the world. This is no place to make a speed trap, where's the danger here?
This coffee shop location in Donghaksa was always a favourite meeting spot for the Daejeon crew. It was also famous for the tourists and hikers that would come up to visit the temple and go up the hill. And it was also where Gordon lived. It was around this time where a few of us who rode bikes and lived in the Daejeon area would always come up to see Gordon, have a coffee, and then off we'd go on a ride and follow him around the area. He'd lived here for such a long time and knew the road so well, and so we'd always just let him be the leader. In this case, I'm actually lost and trying to find the crew. There they are. I get left behind quite a bit because I've got the 125, while most of the other bikes are about 600 or 800 cc, and so I just have to catch up at some point.
That was amazing that you managed to find me there.
Because we went along the main road.
I couldn't figure out.
And I saw you going along the little road.
But then you arrived perfectly, What is this place? Is this like a little restaurant? Oh.
This rest stop is a common feature that you'd see in South Korea, and they're always so well looked after. Apologies for the low sound, but hopefully the captions can make sense of the great story.
What were you in Indonesia for?
Almost 3 months.
Did you just travel all the way through it, or did you stay it for a long time?
And did the island hopping until East Timor, and there I took the ship to Australia.
Wow.
So I did Java, and then Bali, then Lombok, then Sumbawa, then Flores, then Timor.
Wow. Like any political issues there or anything like that? No problems.
Peaceful.
Really?
Very friendly people.
Really?
And because I had my bike, the big bike, I attracted the attention of the biker clubs. And I was invited by biker clubs all the time. The word spread over all Indonesia, and I was expected already in the next cities,
Wow.
next islands, already a welcome committee at the port when I arrived. Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. They were so proud. I'm traveling so far, coming from Europe, visiting them. They were so proud that I visited their country.
Wow.
And they treated me like a king. I couldn't pay for anything. I slept privately in their
Wow.
houses. It was a good experience because you can see behind the curtain, the real life.
Yeah, jeez.
Fantastic. I'm telling you, when you travel with a motorbike, the bike is like a door opener.
Really?
Because especially when you travel alone, people are not shy to come to you, to talk to you.
Yeah.
They don't.
Something that you can see that you've got in common with someone else.
We experience that also in Laos and Cambodia. So it's a door opener because they are interested to see the bike, man and technique, big bike, want to know everything about the bike. And then you get in touch with the locals.
Wow.
Conversations.
I can't get it into gear.
It was great to question Thierry about his riding experiences, as the motorbike was still a whole new exciting adventure, so tips and inspirations were so valuable at this time. This was the beginning of a new philosophy developing within me, a perspective changing towards the journey itself. How unimportant the destination seemed when experiencing travel now on 2 wheels, holding onto the handlebars and feeling the wind against my face. So very different from the lethargic entrapment of a box on wheels that will be easily caught in traffic. Like a bird in the wind, I became quite attracted to the ability to lane split and get ahead of the crowd before the lights changed. American fast food was abundant in Korean cities. This one in Cheongju was conveniently in front of the city's university.
You can smell this place from the top of the hill.
Looking back at this footage from 2015, I realized that the first time I was riding a motorbike and exploring South Korea was also the first time I was really having the chance to explore the various temples that existed around the area.
I fucking stalled it then. Definitely cutting that out the video. It's impressive on the hill, isn't it?
I have to confess that I do not know the name of this temple because I cannot read Korean, but I know it's in Cheongju and on the way back to Daejeon.
Always so peaceful, you know? I can imagine living here though, you know?
This temple was quite small and peaceful and sort of quaint in its own way, but there are many other temples that we will visit.
Facebook profile.
There are something like 20,000 Buddhist temples in South Korea, so it's impossible to visit all of them, but they always gave a beautiful landmark to ride to. One of the most impressive was Songguksa Temple, just north of a town called Gongju. Some traditional Korean food is a great treat after a long bike ride, and the local town of Gongju was the nearest place from the temple. Gongju is just located a little bit north from Daejeon and only about 40 minutes ride on the bike. This town of Gongju was soon to become a significant part of my life as I chose to reside here in the future, which I also hope to feature in more later videos, so don't forget to like and subscribe and keep up with the adventures. As for now, the intensity of the open 32 road, the highway connecting Daejeon and Gongju, was such a new buzz. To be able to open the throttle and let rip on such a small engine. Back at the ranch, life was still a good balance of work and play, but there was a new girl in my life. Her name was The Beast. The Beast was a rusty and old Hyosung, a 125 Mirage. This was a Korean bike, and not considered a quality motorbike, but good enough to be able to get me out into the open, into nature, and find a new coffee shop by the lake. Most weekends, when the weather was mostly hot and dry, off I went following the larger engined bikes, hence why it is hard to see other riders in these shots.
I've really got to get some petrol. The reserve tank. It's going to be far from here, isn't it? Jesus, that is a good bike, eh? It's fucking huge, eh? How long have you had the bike for now?
2012.
Right.
Bought it.
Fuel stop, absolutely.
But there is an ethic of riding with bigger bikes. The bikes up ahead which I am following will always know to stop and wait for the slower bikes should there be turnings on the journey itself. And so I know as the slower bike just to keep straight and I'm on the right direction until I see a fellow biker. I usually get the chance to catch up the other bikers if they have to stop or drive slowly through farming towns, and in some occasions making wrong turns. But there's always a convenience store to stop at for coffee breaks and make a plan for the next journey. I think it's a bit obvious why they say the ice cream man.
Is this called Sungjin?
So this is Danyang in South Korea, not to be confused with Danyang in China.
So we go up to the top of the mountain.
It's good to be prepared for the end of the trip, and to be at the top of the mountain with a couple of beers just makes sense to me. And at the same time, looking at this footage, I realize how many times I've actually heard Gordon say, "See you at the top of the mountain." Gordon was definitely one of the most adventurous on a motorbike, and this was because of his 25 years of traveling on motorbikes around the world, where he developed his own passion and a serious determination, which brought about his own philosophy to the ride itself. This I might bring up later, but I was starting to learn this now for myself. I found out many times what it was like trying to get up these mountains and the trials and tribulations along the way. It was about to begin a new adventure and a new experience that was definitely going to test me on many levels.
Jesus Christ. Stalled. Oh, fuck.
It was moments like this that I started to realize my lack of experience with gear changing on hills, which does improve in the future, and some of the better experiences as I learn to get up the hill with a lot more experience following Gordon.
Looks like there's some smoke coming out there.
That line is very strange.
line goes all the way around.
Forgot to put my helmet on.
So, as this ride to Danyang comes to an end, so does this video. The first of many videos on this channel about riding motorbike in South Korea.
So where are we going to now? What's the new location?
As you can tell, I'm quite new to this riding experience, with still so much to learn, but with some great new riding companions, the hero's path of discovery is to be explored. Don't forget to follow me on these adventures, like and subscribe, and keep track of the GonzoVision in South Korea.